Welcome to the Career Directed Education Podcast. Produced by the Calaveras County Office of Education and focused on sharing career awareness, opportunities, and trends. And now, your host for today, Calaveras County Superintendent of Schools, Scott Nanick.
Welcome to Career Directed Education, a series of podcasts focused on sharing career awareness, opportunities, and trends. Hi, my name is Scott Nanick. I'm the Calaveras County Superintendent of Schools. Today, I'm joined by Mike Cimini, Superintendent, Bret Harte Union High School District, Mark Campbell, Superintendent, Calaveras Unified, and Rick DeMilo, a retired superintendent. Transforming our education is not new. However, for the first time in many years, the tide has turned slowly toward reintroduction of career tech education, or CTE, as a priority in education for California students. The idea of career-directed education for our kids has been around for a long time. However, the opportunities and resources available now and in the foreseeable future compel us to engage more industry and regional partners to enable our children to discover and get a glimpse of career opportunities. As your local school superintendents, we're committed to sharing what we consider essential knowledge for students and parents on the expansion of career and technical education. We want our youth to discover their talents by exploring potential career paths and for what awaits them ahead. Before we introduce our career-directed podcast specifics, I'd like to ask my fellow superintendents to share the CTE experiences their districts currently offer. Let's start with Mr. Campbell. Would you give us a brief overview of what's available at Calaveras High?
Absolutely. I think what's really great about our schools, both Bret Harte and Calaveras High School, is that we've always prioritized career tech ed. Even with budget cuts, that have hit us over the last few years, we've really sustained a tremendous amount of programs. At Calaveras High School in particular, we have automotive tech, we have medical science, we have a wide range of technology offerings. Photoshop, office production, animation, but we also have a huge program in our ag program, which actually has grown in the last few years from 1 teacher to 3 teachers, anywhere from ag tech to ag equipment construction, floral design, crop production, and then a wide array of academic offerings, ag bio and ag physics. And that really makes up our CTE program.
That's a great breadth of program offerings. Mr. Cimini, what do you offer at
I
Bret Harte?
could just echo what Mr. Campbell, what Mark just said. I think both of us have strived very diligently to ensure that we offer a full continuum of courses to all of our students. As a public high school, we have to serve every student who walks through our front doors. And so, as Mark shared with his CTE programs, we offer the same complement of CTE programs, some with different titles, but all allowing our students to follow a pathway that once they choose to decide on a pathway, they can follow a pathway all the way through. Some of our programs are growing, some of our programs we're reinventing with our changing population and changing needs of the community and the workforce. But again, we are committed, as CUSD is, to maintaining our CTE programs.
That's great to hear. I know you two work together on some programs. How's that going?
It goes well. It really works a lot better since Bret Harte went on a block schedule probably 8 or 9 years ago. So once our schedule is meshed, it allows our students to to participate in the medical program and other programs. It just likewise last year when Columbia College was on campus, it allowed Calaveras High School students to come and participate. So we do as much sharing as we can.
I know that we've had some students access the fire science program
right.
through Bret Harte. So I think that collaborative spirit and creating opportunities for students has always existed.
That's great to hear. Mr. Campbell, tell us how our parents and students in Calaveras County, with the Workforce Development Initiative we have going, promotes career awareness and opportunities for students.
Yeah, I look at this, the CWDI, Career Workforce Development Initiative, really creating opportunities for students to become more aware of what's out there, creating better partnerships with our community industry sectors, but also creating opportunities for students. Our job, as Mr. Cimini offered up, is to create those pathways and create that awareness and create those connections for our students. Right. This allows us really to strengthen the partnerships, which strengthens our ability to connect those students early on. What's out there and how do we get you there, and navigating that pathway to either a career right out of high school or through college, through some type of post-secondary institution to a career.
I also see it as the next steps. which allows us to build a skill set in our students while they're here, and then allows them to move those further. And the other important aspect of this is to allow our unemployed workforce to find skill sets. And so, as I would hope and envision, as this grows, that it will not only allow our students to access additional skills, but also the workforce to grow. Because if the workforce grows, we'll have more people staying, which means our economy will grow, our population will grow, and I think it just will be. It's a good first step in order for our county to thrive.
Great. So, Mr. Chimini, some parents have talked about how heavily dominated the college prep courses are in our school curriculum today. How will this shift with the career-directed education focus? It's the interesting thing is that, again, we're a public high school and we have to create courses and a pathway for each of our students. If you look at our graduation rates and the amount of students who move on to either a 2-year or 4-year course, I think the most important thing is that students are accessing some type of educational experience past high school. And for both of us, we have a small population that enters the workforce right out of high school. We have another small population that enters the military to serve our country. And then the rest of that, which could be, 70 maybe percent or higher,
Agreed.
either go on to a 2-year college with the anticipation of transferring to a 4-year or onto a trade school. And about 25 to 30% of both of our high schools move on to a 4-year college right outside. But I think the main thing that we need to instill in our students, regardless of the pathway, they need to continue their education.
And I think the beautiful thing about both of our high schools, even in the midst of a state-directed drive that all students will go to a 4-year school, we've always been about all students should have the opportunity to go to a 4-year school. But when they come in as freshmen, we want to make sure they're aware of the opportunities that are out there and that we chart that path for them, and that not everybody's going to go to college. That's just a reality.
And the other thing I think it's not a 4-year college versus CTE. Most of our students who enter our high school, just by the very nature of taking courses that will ensure that they graduate from high school, are going to meet the 4-year requirements to go to a college. And so it's not mutually exclusive to say that I'm thinking about going to a 4-year college, but I'm also taking some CTE courses. So both of those can happen for a student.
And that's super exciting for students today.
Yeah.
The Career Directed podcast will give students and parents insight to today's world and career awareness. We've asked fellow educator Rick D'Amelio here to be our host for those podcasts, so you'll hear his voice quite a bit in the future. Mr. D'Amelio, now retired, lives in Calaveras County and has over 50 years experience in schools, from classroom teacher to superintendent, and even a California state trustee. In 2001, he was asked to direct the School Reform Act in the Bay Area, working with school district superintendents to implement district reform. We're fortunate to gain his attention and his assistance in these podcasts. Rick, you want to explain to us a little bit about what's coming up?
Sure. Thanks for that kind introduction. I'm very excited about the opportunity to help Calaveras High School and middle schools with the work that they'll be doing on career-focused education. The video and the podcast we planned will be specifically focused on parents and students and helping them to build a better understanding of what career education is and what kinds of decisions they will have to make as they move through their high school years. The first few podcasts we planned will focus on career-directed education in our schools and across the nation. The podcast will give you the opportunity to hear national experts, local educators, and employers. These podcasts will focus on what's happening in California and across the nation in regards to technical education, why career education needs to be emphasized in our schools, share with you what's happening in the at the community college level as it relates to career development, and when and why it's important for parents and students to focus on career preparation, how career preparation impacts college and post-secondary education decisions, and what's the job market look like for those interested in certain kinds of careers. I want to encourage all parents and students to listen to these 10 to 15 minute podcasts. We are confident they'll find them helpful. More information on these upcoming podcasts will be available on the district's website, www.calaveras.cte.org. Thanks.
It's an exciting time in education. Thank you for listening to Career Directed Education Podcast. You can find more information on the website, again, calaveras.cte.org. A special thank you to Dave Dugan, the Performing Arts Director at Bret Harte High School, and the student team for their assistance in producing this event. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Career Directed Education Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more information, please visit our website at calaveras.cte.org.